Hello there. Welcome to our May Buyers Tip Edition. So we're a few days behind, but it's because the 15th fell on a Saturday. So
Yeah,
it's fine.
I was out of town.
You know what's funny is I this weekend. It's a moment for the Salmons family. My wife can now park in the garage. All in one, yeah. So she can actually park there now, which was a big moment for me.
That is a big moment.
That's been a 2-year project ongoing, and we finally got to the point where she can park in the garage. She's so excited. And we got rain for like 3 days in a row then, so.
Is it because the garage was too packed, or because she was fearful of pulling the car in there? Because that's my wife's issue. Shout out Jamie. She just does not want to pull it in there because she's afraid she's going to sideswipe it. So
no, she doesn't care. She rides right through. She'll hit anything. You can see her car's like a bumper car.
So there's just too much stuff in there.
Too much stuff. Okay. So we had the house that we invested in. We had a bunch of our furniture in there, and we had a few like projects and stuff in there, and it's just. I still have a big pile of barnwood in there and things like that I've been using for things, and so finally.
That's why we call it spring cleaning.
The spring cleaning. And then we rolled the trailer. We got a big trailer. We just started throwing stuff that's going to go to the dump right in there. So it cleaned up a lot of space there, too.
Love dump runs.
It's going to happen. So
it feels good.
It was a good time. So that was our weekend. Really exciting.
Yeah. No real estate.
No real estate.
Okay.
Well, real estate's Saturday, but Sunday we got some work done. There's never a non-real estate.
Yeah, this weekend was very, very busy. I was out of town. I was in Florida. And every day I had to pop open my laptop to do one or two things. I took a phone call at the airport. It's of course what I signed up for. So no complaints. I'm happy to be busy. It's just one of those things where you just have to find little pockets when you're traveling, little pockets of time where you can communicate with people. So that's always nice.
And it's a little bit tougher, like this seller's market. So you have a little pressure put on you to get the stuff out in time and so forth.
Yeah.
I know you and I have had a few deals where we knew the listing agent, so it's easy to give that person a call and say, listen, Tim's going to get it for me. And they were like, oh, yeah, I know Tim worked with me before.
Yeah.
Like, we're pre-approved. Call him if you need it, but he's on the run, so we're going to let her as soon as we can. And so that stuff happens once in a while. So it's nice to have local listing agents you can trust and work with.
Yeah, if it can't be done right there this second, you just have to set the expectation, which I did a couple times. Like, look, I'm flying. My flight gets in at 2. I can hop into the laptop. I had 2 layovers, to and from, and I kind of just
2 from Florida.
No, one on the way down,
one back. All right.
So both times I had to do one or two things when I landed, and so you just have to set the expectation. Hey, I'm going to have it at this point. Not I'm not available, or I'll get it to it when I get to it. Just hit.
And a lot of times you have them preloaded, ready to go. Like you're just ready. Like I'm almost all set with this. I've got at least started. I know what the numbers look like and things like that.
So. Yeah, everything's templated. You just kind of have to make a few tweaks here and there.
And the people are approved in their situation, so it's not like you have to reevaluate it or anything. You've got a lot of that stuff already finished up.
Well, actually, in this market, depending on when the last time I spoke to somebody would be, people are kind of expanding their price range. It's a good little segue for us. Rates are going up. Home prices are high, so every now and then you get one of those scenarios where this actually just happened to me on Sunday. Someone reached out and said, hey, my client, who I had already had pre-approved, they're looking to make this offer on this home. It's a higher price point than you pre-approved them for. I then said, well, not only are you going on a higher price, the rate has now changed from what it originally was. So we actually employed this person's mother actually is giving him a gift to kind of bridge that gap. So it does help. But those things take time to figure out. So giving a little bit of lead time is important. You don't always have that, though. For this one, it was, hey, it's 2 o'clock. They're reviewing offers at 8. So we have to figure this out on the fly, which we always can. But
it happens. We have a team, too. Sometimes when you're in a pinch, you guys there's a few hands on deck if you really need to. So
sure. Of course.
And we do as well. Like Mark showed a couple of houses for me on Sunday and things like that too. Or same situation where somebody called and said I have a window between 1 and 3, and I'm like, I'm in. I can't remember where Annapolis. I was showing houses in Annapolis. I'm like, Mark, can you go to Port Republic real quick? And so, dealing with teams that have really solid communication is key in this crazy market.
Yeah, absolutely. So. It does help. To have some other people to lean on. I'm a little bit particular about certain things that I will then retain as my responsibility, and then other things I'll delegate. But when it comes to getting things quickly, it's okay, who's available? It's a double Dutch thing. Me, you, who can do it. But always happy, even kind of sign up for this even on vacations where we're doing some work. So
yeah, that's awesome. So today we're going to keep it fairly short, actually. We only have like a couple of topics. And we're not talking about rates, so if you're tuning in for rates, no. You can turn it off. DM us for information, I guess, but we're not talking about it today.
Right.
So there's a couple of different changes in some loan programs. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Maryland Mortgage Program, we sometimes call it CDA. That's kind of an older term. Maryland Mortgage Program. It's a program that helps people with down payment assistance. They also have a student loan program. They have an interest rate program. They have several different, but the ones that we lean on the most are the down payment assistance. They recently changed. They used to have two columns for 3%, 4%, and 5% down payment assistance. And that percentage is actually off of the first loan amount. So if your first loan amount is $400,000, that's what it's off of, not the sales price.
Got it.
They flipped the 4% and 5% from the flex, which is a non-first time or first time home buyer, to now the first time home buyer side that has a better rate. So you can get 4% and 5% down payment assistance with a little bit better rate than you would have gotten before. So that was kind of the change that, and I've actually already utilized it with one particular buyer, that they were pre-approved for down payment assistance of 3% as first time home buyer. We offered the 4 and 5, and it's normally an 1/8% in rate higher. And he goes, I might as well get the extra 2% in down payment assistance for only a 1/4% higher rate. So I imagine that's going to probably be a trend, that people take that 5%. And what it is, it's called a silent second, where you don't make payments on it. It's a 0% interest bearing loan, that second loan. You don't pay it back until you sell or refinance the house. So it's very beneficial in this market because you don't sometimes only need it for down payment. Also use it for closing costs too. And in this market, as we've talked about before, buyers are having to pay their own closing costs for the most part.
A lot.
You see some seller help here and there. So you can pair that. You can get some money towards your down payment, and your closing costs is very beneficial. So that was a new change. It's probably been, it might have happened around the time of our last video. But probably a month and a half since that.
They should really check in and make sure that they get us the news before we do our videos. They should really have that chat.
Yeah.
Closing help. You said closing help. So one of the things that I'm seeing out there in regards to closing help is if the house needs a little bit of love, a little bit of updating, I'm starting to see a little bit of closing help here and there. We have a client right now who, it's their original house that the people are selling, and it's got wallpaper and it's got some old stuff. And so we got a little bit of closing help because we presented it with, hey, we need to do a few things here, and my folks are a little younger and pretty handy. And so we did get a little bit of closing help. Not as much as we wanted, but some. So it's coming back. And it's a lot of times that the house needs some updating. That's the most frequent time. Or if it's been sitting on the market for a little bit, or if there's something that has to be done, we're seeing closing help in that regard. Mm-hmm. If the house is spotless, brand new, everything looks good, you're probably not going to get it. So that is a listing. So make sure when you're looking through pictures and we're sending you listings, keep that in mind as well. So
we never like to make blanket statements. It's just that it's less common than what it used to be. But I've had plenty of deals recently in the last 3 months or so that have gotten closing help. So it's just not like what it was in 2017 where it's almost
back
expected.
In the day. Back in the day. Way back. So the two other topics then you said back in the day, that's one of the topics we're going to cover real quick. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a lot of buyers who are like, you know what, I'm just going to wait till the bubble hits and all these prices go back down. And if that's your philosophy, you will not be buying a house anytime soon, because you're also waiting on the lumber prices to go down, right? And you're also waiting for car prices to go down, and it's unfortunately, I think we got hit with some inflation,
right?
And that's just the reality of the world. Is that also what you're seeing?
We are, and I actually heard an analogy recently. It's that, hey, gas prices are super high, so are you just going to stay home and not drive anywhere? You kind of have to do the things that are going to set yourself up for success in the future. And if that's purchasing a home, getting out of a rental, making a move-up purchase, start paying principal now. Because if you wait 2 years, first of all, you've now set yourself back from when you can actually have that retirement plan of having your home paid off or things like that. But also just think about it from a pure numbers perspective, a supply and demand perspective. You would keep hearing the term bubble, housing bubble, and even if you watch the news, it's just so uneducated. They will say that we are in bubble-like conditions. It's just not true. In 2006 was our housing bubble where we had the highest amount of homes on the market, over 3 million. The average first-time home buyer historically is 33 years old. So subtract 33 from 2006, that's 1973. 1973 is the lowest birth rate in the history of the United States in the modern era. So 33 years, we had the least amount of home buyers and the most homes on the market, 3 million. 1989, the year I was born, I'm 33, will be 33. That was the highest amount of births in a particular year. 33 years from 89 is today, 2022. There's 950,000 homes on the market. So you have the most people
and the least amount of houses for sale.
And the least amount of houses. It's a simple supply and demand, basic economics, and somehow people are still messing that up.
The balloon.
Yeah.
So the other part of it is too, like the loan process is a little more rigorous. The people getting home loans are very qualified. They have a really good income. Second streams of income, third streams of income. We have 2 incomes in a house, like the wife and husband, or whatever that marital situation is.
Yeah.
Both people have jobs and are getting paid well, so it's not like people unqualified getting loans like it was when the housing bubble actually took place.
Right.
It's qualified, good credit, good jobs, and there's just more of them than there are houses. So if you're waiting for that bubble, I don't know.
These are good loans that we're writing right now. We're lending to qualified individuals. Most of them are 30-year fixed loans. I mean, we're doing mostly fixed. ARMs are going to start to come back. I think they've already started. But for the most part, these are all fixed rate loans. So they're good, solid products. That just lends itself again to the fact that this is a strong housing market. That will not experience a bubble. And the other report that we saw today is that builder confidence, that's actually a legitimate report that we receive monthly. Yeah. Builder confidence is way down. The cooling on building is I mean, it's apparent definitely in Southern Maryland for sure. But builder confidence is definitely down, and that has to do with supply chains, how many people are in their model homes on weekends, all that stuff, signed contracts. So so that's just another piece. I mean, think about it as this big puzzle that just points to the fact that the housing market is still very strong. Home prices aren't going to be dropping significantly. So it's a timing thing. Do you want to start paying your mortgage now, or do you want to start in 2 years? Now you're setting yourself back for retirement, 2 years,
Most people just work backwards, right? They find out what that monthly payment can be, and then they kind of work themselves backwards to make sure they're putting themselves in a very smart position. And that's most people. Some
people are having to stretch themselves a little bit, but they'd have to stretch themselves even more to rent. That's the thing. It's comparing those two. It's if you get into the market and you say I want my payment to be $2,500, and you find out that the price point you want is actually $2,800, you'll find, most likely you'll find somewhere in the books $300 a month that you can figure it out. Because if you flip to a rental, you're gonna be paying $3,200 for that same house. You know what I'm saying? So
it's rough.
That's where it all comes into play, and sometimes we have to set that expectation. People don't really know until they talk to a lender or a realtor, what is this going to cost me? So get that conversation started. Even if you're 6 months or 8 months or 12 months away from purchasing, just talk about it so you can understand it.
Yeah, that's solid advice.
Yeah.
And our last topic's your least favorite. But I get a lot of questions, and so I think it's educational, and it'll help some people out, I think. So you're going to be at least helping. I'm getting a handful of people that are turning the house, refinancing, pulling the money, and looking for a second house.
Okay.
And we do, not many of them, but I'm getting it enough that it's something to bring up and at least help me answer their questions. How much money down? What kind of loan opportunities? Does it have to be a certain distance from their other home? Things like that.
Sure. Yeah, occupancy is a big indicator, and it's one of the first questions we ask when we get an applicant. Are you going to live in this house or not? And if they're not, that's a non-owner occupied loan, but there's 2 tiers to that. One is a second home or a vacation home.
Gotcha.
The other is an investment property, strictly a rental or an income producing type property. Now, there's some gray area with second homes. You can make money on a second home. You just have to reside there a certain period of time. And, there's also some indicators like if it's in a beach town. If it's in Ocean City, that makes sense as a vacation home. But if it's in Huntingtown, Maryland, you're not going to live there part-time, most likely. That's if you already own a home in Huntingtown or Prince Frederick and you're buying another home in Calvert County, it's probably going to be an investment property, which is, just kind of make a blanket statement, 20% down loan.
Okay.
The pricing and some of the terms get better the more money you put down. We try to urge people, if you're buying an investment property, to put 25% down. The rates gets better. So, I don't like to mess around with let's try to game the system. Occupancy fraud is one of the biggest F words in my industry. Let's just be honest. You're going to live there or not? And if not, we'll figure that part out. So, yes, it's very common. It's a great strategy to build wealth is to have a portfolio. You just have to do it the right way.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people have a ton of equity right now, so they're just looking for other opportunities. And so we'll continue to send them your way, so that gives you a chance to talk about their options. But it's coming up, 20% down, and then you can come to us and talk about rental. We do Airbnb. Well, we don't do. I've experienced the Airbnb world a little bit, but we don't list them specifically. We can just give you some advice if you're going that route as well. And there's a lot of factors involved, and it's a little more than this conversation can hold. But
yeah,
I'd always sit down with you and we can chat about what you plan on doing with it and pull up some numbers and give you an idea of what you want to get yourself into.
There's a lot of educational tools out there for
There's a lot.
investors.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
You just have to seek it out for sure.
All right, cool. That's it. We're gonna keep it simple today. We don't
Yeah.
need to get that deep today. This is it.
Our cell phones are on. Just
Yeah.
call.
And yeah, cell phones, text messages, calls, emails. Like we're all over the place. Social media. We do have our Father's Day event coming up, June 18th. If you didn't get an RSVP,
Axe throwing.
get a hold of me right away because you need RSVP because there's gonna be Sassafras burgers and they'll sell out fast. And then Mully's, it's gonna be at Mully's, the beer. They won't sell out, but it's still an option. And then
If they sell out, we have a problem.
and then axe throwing. So the axe throwing is gonna be Odyssey. They're right in Huntingtown actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Odyssey axe throwing, beer and burgers, and then we actually had a handful of local businesses that want to jump in as well. So we may have some little tables and some other businesses.
Awesome.
Because that is really catching on because of our live local and the element to our business, our fun passion project. So it's been really catching momentum. We've got a lot of people reaching out about setting up tables and handing out stuff, and so it'll be fun. These are getting better and better every time.
I'll come by for a bullseye or two.
If you think so, it's harder than it looks.
Probably. Yeah.
So last time we did it was St. Patrick's Day actually, and they just happened to be there. It's not like I ordered that one, but Keegan bullseyed 3 out of 4.
Wow.
Like what is that? And secondly, oh my God, my kid can throw axes. I got to be careful.
And you've had 5 beers. Be careful.
Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the guy's really good. You'll throw an axe and he'll all right, take 2 steps back to the left and hold it over here. And you're like, yeah, whatever. And then you throw it the way he tells you to, and it's like bullseye. You're like,
Wow. He's the Phil Jackson of axe throwing.
he's really good. So.
Nice.
It is fun. Stop on by June 18th, and the one after that is going to be a cook-off, end of July, and then we do our baseball game.
There's some whispers that the cook-off may have a big green egg given away as a grand prize from First Home Mortgage.
It's probably more than a whisper than if
Be
you've
on the
heard
lookout.
it. So we have a lot of fun summer things going on, and so hit us up. We're always around doing things for our community because we love the place we live. So,
Absolutely.
Tim, thanks for your time today.
Appreciate it. We'll see you in a month.
At the very least, a
June.
month. Hopefully sooner than that, but yeah.
The June video should be right before our.
Right before it.
our-
That's why I wanted to give them the preview now because it'll be like 3 days in advance. They won't have nearly enough time to prepare for it.
Yeah.
Go in the backyard and practice your axe throwing before you get there. So I'll practice my beer drinking. You practice your axe throwing.
Yeah.
We all set.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be any good. I'm just talking a big game.
All right, sir. Thank you for your time again today.
See you guys.
We'll
Thanks
see you
for
at the
having
very
me.
least. We'll see you June. Hopefully sooner. See you later.